Yo, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video, and today we are going to raid Shadow Legends. I'm just joking. We're actually going to be raiding a whole bunch of Shadow Raikou, and it's because it is a Shadow Legendary raid day. Now, this one in particular is one I really wanted to get a whole bunch of raids done for, and it's because Raikou is one of my favorite legendaries, and to be able to get myself a 100% IV Shadow Raikou, that is basically the dream. If I were to get even luckier to get a Shadow Legendary Shundo, that would be insane. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty fun time. I think Shadow Legendary raid days are always going to be a little bit more difficult compared to other raid days. I mean, just catching the Shadow Legendaries are already extremely difficult. But the one thing is, it's really cold outside. It's the coldest day of the year, actually. There was actually like a winter storm that passed by through Chicago, and the temperatures are literally below freezing. I think right now outside it is 9 degrees, and that is actually pretty warm compared to what it was this morning, which was like -5. So yeah, we're gonna see if there's actually people out here raiding, and hopefully we'll get lucky and get ourselves a really high IV shiny. Alright, we're gonna jump into the game right now. I'm showing up just a little bit later than when this raid day started. Oh wow. Alright, so we're gonna jump in right away. I actually preemptively set up my team, which is something I infamously do not do. It's basically going to be a team of, well, we're gonna start with Primal Groudon. Let's get this Primal Reversion done. And it's a team that consists of 100% IV Garchomps. Garchomp is, of course, probably one of the most solid legendary, or I guess one of the most solid non-legendary Pokemon that you could use for raid battles, and in particular for Raikou, it's going to be incredibly good because it has that double resistance to electric type damage, and then of course it deals a good amount of damage itself. So yeah, this is going to be hopefully very easy. It's not like I've not done Shadow Raikou raids in the past. Of course, we've had it for a month, I think, when we had the weekend Shadow Legendary raid. So yeah, I'm really hoping for something good. I particularly wanted to participate in this raid day because the idea of getting a Shundo Shadow Raikou has always been a big wish list item of mine. But it's really going to depend on how lucky we are. Getting a whole bunch of shinies to begin with would be great, because the thing that I've always found to be incredibly difficult with the Shadow Legendary raid days is that catching Shadow Legendaries is really hard. You'll see it once we complete this. I've participated in a lot of Shadow Legendary raids because when it comes to Shadow Pokemon, obviously certain Legendaries are going to be top tier. Raikou is one of them, I believe. 1895. Alright, so I immediately know that's not going to be good. I know it has to be at least 1950? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this is even a shiny. Oh, we get a lot of resources out of this. Let's see. Is it going to be shiny? It'll be kind of sad if it is, because it's bad IVs. Alright, yeah, there we go. So it's not shiny. But let me show you how difficult this is to catch. First of all, you could see right here, constantly attacking. I feel like this is when, what is that one adventure effect? I think it's Freeze Shock. That would really come into play here. Oh my god. And I think the catch rate is also much lower for some reason. Yeah, we're gonna have to use that adventure effect because this is crazy. Alright. Excellent curveball with the golden. Yeah, you see right there? Extremely finicky. So, oh my gosh. I'm not gonna worry about trying to catch these Pokemon quickly like other raid days. I know when it comes to raid days, sometimes I'm not really interested in just trying to for sure catch these Pokemon. But this time around, I actually want to farm up the Candy XL for Raikou. And also, Shadow Raikou is very powerful regardless of IVs. So yeah, I think because of that, I'm actually going to try to catch every single one of these Pokemon. I might end up doing less raids as a result, but it's totally fine. I think for me, I'd rather catch, let's say, 25 Shadow Raikou than do 35 raids and only catch maybe like 10% of them. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Oh boy, yeah, this is already pretty tough. Nope. Oh my gosh. 10 balls left. Wow, we already burned through so many balls. Yeah, it's really tough. I think this is kind of a shocker for a lot of people. They don't realize how difficult it is to catch Shadow Legendaries. And it'd be really sad if this ran away. Come on, curveball, excellent throws. My throw game is actually pretty good today, and that's a good sign. Oh boy, come on. Please. All right, here we go. Hit. Oh, right after I said that. Of course, I miss. Curveball, excellent throws. I need to hit pretty much every single time. There we go. Otherwise, high chance it's gonna run away. Nice. Okay. So it was 1895. Let's just see the IVs. It's gonna be bad. Yeah, wow. Alright, let's jump into the next one. Oh, actually, gotta be careful with these catches. Let's go. Jump right in. Just a few minutes left in the lobby. And having this preset team should be okay. Yeah, you could see with that last raid, barely did any damage to my Primal Groudon. I feel like that's basically how these raids are going to go. And thankfully there is a lot of people that are showing up, even though the weather is blistering cold. It's literally the kind of weather where if you're outside and you have exposed skin for like more than 10 minutes, you're literally going to get frostbite. It's so insanely bad. I do not plan to go outside. So if I title the video something like Braving the Freezing Weather in order to get Shadow Raikou, maybe I'll do one raid outside just to make good on that, so it's not clickbait. But man, it is so cold. I'm definitely going to stay in my car for this. Alright, it's going down quick. I didn't even have to use the thing. I'm going to use the thing. Why not? Yep, there we go. Should just go down. And there we go. Let's see what the IVs are going to be. Of course, with Shadow Legendary raids, the IV floor is definitely a higher variance. 1921, still not good. But let's see. 15 raids done. Oh, yeah. So I also need to complete a whole bunch of raids because I'm really behind on the... Oh, it's a shiny. Okay. Nice. I think this will be my first shiny Shadow Raikou. Would I purify it to get the Shundo? Probably not. I already have a 98% shiny Raikou, so I think because of that, I don't feel compelled to have to purify. Yeah, it wouldn't even get me close to a Shundo anyway. So yeah, that's something that I will definitely not do. Alright, a new set of raids have just popped up. This time I will try to get some of my Patreon members invited to this one because, yeah, it was kind of empty before I jumped in. Oh wow, there's already 5 people within a blink of... Oh wow, okay, so this is probably all filled up. Oh, no, not yet. Yeah, it's really nice that there's a lot of people out here. I was kind of concerned that today's raid day would not have a lot of people. Even though I'm in one of the big hotspots of my area. It's really nice that this place exists, and it's kind of like a central hub for like the Chicagoland suburbs. Because it would have been really awful if I had to have, like, let's say drive to the city, like downtown Chicago, just to have full lobbies. This area has consistently been a place to go if you want to have full raid groups without coordinating. So I really appreciate that. But it's nice that these raids are going down fast because I know I'm going to be spending a lot of time just trying to catch these Pokemon. That is, unless I get really lucky and just come across a lot of shinies. That would be really good. Especially because for the last several raid days, I feel like my shiny luck has been awful. Wow, this is 1849. This is probably going to be the worst one of the day. Just imagine if it's shiny. That would kind of suck. Well, actually, I wouldn't complain. Because I could always... Because it's going to be a quick catch. Nope, it's not even shiny. Oh my god, 1849. I cannot believe how low these can get. Certainly I appreciate the higher IV floor for shadow raids, especially because most of the time, if you're thinking about getting a shadow Pokemon, chances are you're thinking about PvP. But certain Pokemon like Raikou, what did we have recently? We had, oh my gosh, Heatran. Like, these are Pokemon more than likely you would use for raid battles. So, getting higher IVs is going to be always more ideal. So having a higher IV floor for these particular Pokemon is actually not what you want. So yeah, kind of sucks in that regard. Alright, we've hit, I think that was three excellent curveball throws in a row. And still breaking out on the first shake. Not good. Kind of reminds me of the old days. Like, in the beginning of, like, raid battles, when we had legendaries for the very first time and people didn't know certain things like the set circle trick and all that stuff, it was always incredibly stressful, like, trying to catch Pokemon. Every time the ball shook, it kind of, like, gave you a sense of relief. But yeah, that was a quick catch. And let's all see. Oh my god, it's really bad. Can we reach this one up here? Yes, we can. Let's jump into this one. Yeah, so when it comes to these Shadow Legendary raids, they're fun. They certainly are fun. But they can also be incredibly stressful. It definitely feels different from your average raid day. I feel like most raid days, you could just go about it very casually. And, you know, just focus on, like, getting shinies. Maybe, like, if you're lucky, you could get high IVs, but it's not overly necessary. But when it comes to Shadow raids, like Shadow Legendary raid days, it just feels so different. It feels like there's just this extra level of, like, I don't know if it's difficulty. I don't know if it's necessarily, like, I don't know, something about it just feels very intense. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just mentally putting myself in that state. But anyway, this will be raid number 4 today. We already have a shiny, which is great. But nothing much else going on. Yeah, let's take this one down fast. I think when it comes to how many raids I want to do today, I'm not necessarily going to raid all 3 hours. I'm already kind of late. I showed up here around 2:20, so I already missed out on about 20 minutes of raids. But if I were to put a guess on how many raids I'm going to get done, I'm going to guess maybe around 20 raids. Within 20 raids, I'm wondering how many of those are going to be shiny. We already have 1. If the raid is 1 in 10, we would hope to get at least 2. Oh, I missed it. We would hope to get at least 2. So we'll see. There are some days where you just hit lucky and you get like 15. Maybe, like, if you do 30 raids, you'll get like 15 shinies. That has certainly happened in the past. Not this time. 1872, another bad one. Let's actually set the circle and try to catch it. Oh my god, I feel that stress that I used to feel back in the heydays. I'm, like, very nervous it's gonna run. Which is funny because I already have a 100% IV Raikou. I got a 98% shiny Raikou. I just do not have a good Shadow Raikou. So, yeah, and I do need candies, because if I were to get myself a really high IV Shadow Raikou, I'm definitely going to power it up. It's a very powerful Pokemon for raid battles. It's not going to be as good as, like, the glassiest of cannons, which is Xurkitree, but I still think it's a powerhouse, and it's definitely worth having in your collection, especially because when it comes to electric types, there's very few that you could use for raids. Gosh, it keeps breaking out. Let's go. Yeah, it's because Raikou has always consistently been one of the top raid attackers for electric types. That is until Xurkitree came into the picture. I think even Zekrom is a better raid attacker, not talking about in terms of non-shadows. But even so, like, for the longest time, Raikou has been number 1, and it's because of its move pool. It has Wild Charge, which is one of the best moves, and then of course it's got really good stats. The problem is this one is constantly breaking out. Come on! Oh my gosh! I gotta hit those excellents. Oh, will I get lucky? No, of course. Yeah. So getting a high IV Shadow Raikou. I definitely want it. I think once you have that shadow damage bonus, it kind of becomes top once again. Oh my gosh, come on. I gotta hit excellent curveball throws every single time or else it's going to break out. Just like that. Yeah, this is pretty rough. It is very rough. It's very scary. Very intense. Remember back in the day when legendaries first appeared? I think the first one was Articuno or Lugia, one of those. This is how stressful it was. Even though at the time, I guess Articuno was like the top ice type at the time. Oh, nice. Caught it. You know, obviously nowadays it's like, oh no, like Articuno's gonna run away. You don't really care about it. But back then, it was intense. Like, we had, what, the OG Kanto Pokedex, not even the full 150. I think we only had like 120 Pokemon. And then on top of that, legendaries, right? Legendaries are always going to be seen as like the most powerful. Obviously nowadays it's not necessarily the case. There's like, if you look at my team, only one legendary, the rest are non-legendaries. So yeah, but still, back then it was very intense. You wanted to catch every single one of those legendaries that you come across. I think this is actually even why my wife quit the game, because I think for the longest time she was trying to get Zapdos. It was the first time Zapdos was in raids, and she couldn't get it. And she couldn't really raid as many of that as well, because, you know, obviously she was working and stuff. But every Zapdos raid that she did, I think she did a handful, it would always run away. And she was just incredibly frustrated with that, and she just felt like, if this is how Pokemon GO is going to be, nah, I just don't want to play it anymore. And sure enough, something like this raid day would be incredibly frustrating for her. So yeah, totally understand. But there we go. That's raid number 5 and 1872. Man, these IVs are rough. They're very rough. Are you shiny number 2? Nope, not even shiny. No, of course. So this raid is just barely out of reach. So this is gonna be the one where I'm gonna step out into the cold. Oh, it doesn't feel that bad. It's gonna feel bad within a few minutes. Just gotta walk up just a little bit, try to reach it. Well, this is a new one. Thievul in the wild. I don't think I've ever seen this. So why not? We'll just catch this for now. Oh my gosh. It is painful. Be careful out there. If it's this cold in your area, do not go outside. It is brutally cold. Pokedex entry, great. And let's get in. Let's get in. Oh my goodness, I hope this raid lobby fills up quick. Whew. All right, so let's get my team ready. These raids have been fun, I will say. It's been pretty fun. Not too sure if my luck will be there, but on the bright side, I will be farming up Candy XL through these raids. So ultimately, it is going to be a productive raid day. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, I still need to do 15 raids at this point, 14, whatever it is, to hit level 73. I've been really slacking on leveling. I know a lot of other YouTubers. Some of them are on my friends list. Like I see Pokedaxi and all them. They're getting through their levels. I need to keep up. I need to keep up for the content, right? Oh my gosh, it's really cold. It's painfully cold. But this raid in particular, I know I can't reach it from my car. So that is why, for the sake of this, I am going to try to raid it and then get back in the car. I don't think I could survive out here too long. I don't think a lot of people can. But surprisingly, I'm seeing people just walking around doing these raids outside. A majority of the people at this park, though, are raiding from their car, which I totally understand. I'm already walking back to my car. I can't do this. Oh, I can't do this. Yeah. So we'll actually try to catch this from the car, because it's not gonna be easy for me to get those excellent curveball throws in this weather. Oh my god, it's painful. This went actually down a lot slower than the other raids. Huh. Alright. Dunzo. Oh, in my nice warm car. You know, I will say, raiding has definitely felt so much better. You know, ever since Scopely bought out Niantic Games, we have just seen so many positive changes. I'm really glad it ended up like that. I think there was a lot of skepticism regarding, you know, Scopely coming in, making the game just a pay-to-win mess, and people were just very concerned about that. But overall, the changes have been great. There's just so many great quality of life improvements. The game is definitely in a much better place, and it really just goes to show that when a game studio is allowed to make a game, good things happen. The game is definitely in a much better place. I feel like, for me as a Pokemon GO player who has been playing since day one, I've been really enjoying the game compared to previous years, and on top of that, it just feels like the focus has been so much better. Up until now, I feel like the focus has been so much on like pushing AR technology. I know I've talked about that ad nauseum on my channel. Nowadays it doesn't feel that way. Nowadays it feels like a game studio that is actually making a game, you know? So something that I did want to mention, and I don't think I've ever really talked about this, but hypertraining. So I think what's really interesting about Shadow Pokemon in particular, like the Shadow Raikou, you can't hypertrain them, right? They added that restriction. I think the reason for that is because, one, that would have been incredibly broken, but two, it kind of adds a lot of value to these sort of raid days, and it gets people to actually go out and participate for these particular raid days. Because let's say you were to get yourself a shiny Shadow Raikou, and you want to make it a Shundo. You could just hypertrain it. Well, you could just be essentially one and done. But that is the case for a lot of raid days, but with Shadow Legendary raid days, you can't do that because you can't hypertrain it. So in some ways, I know it was kind of frustrating that they added that restriction, because obviously with Shadow Pokemon, that is one type of Pokemon you would definitely like to hypertrain. But because they have that restriction, I feel like these sort of raid days are really exciting, because hey, if I get lucky and get myself a shiny Shadow Raikou that is high IVs, great. It kind of adds, you know, it kind of retains that element, not add it. You know, I feel like a lot of raid days, that's kind of like one of the things about it. It's like, hey, if I don't get a high IV shiny, you know, I could just hypertrain it. Not necessarily a bad thing. I actually think that's a great thing. I think it's one of the best parts about hypertraining. You don't feel that kind of pressure to do as many raids as you can now when it comes to raid days. But at least for Shadow Legendary raid days, totally different story. 1871. So the story of the day is that these IVs have been crummy. No shinies as well. We got that one shiny earlier on, but ever since then, I've been not lucky. It's essentially been a candy farming day, and a really difficult candy farming day at that. I would definitely like to get as much Candy XL as possible, just because I do have a 100% IV Raikou that I would like to power up. Actually, that particular 100% IV Raikou is one that I definitely want to power up, even though I don't plan to ever really use it. And the reason for that is because it's a very special one. It's the 100% IV Raikou that I got on my wedding day. I've shared this story before on my YouTube channel in previous videos, but let me just share it again. Basically, on my wedding day, it was, you know, very nerve-wracking, as it should be. So to kind of calm my nerves, early on in the morning, I actually went out and did a couple of Raikou raids, because Raikou was the legendary of the time. And of course, the one Raikou raid that I did, let me see if I can actually find it. Actually, let's sort by name. Yeah, right here. It was the one that I raided for, and it's the one that happened to be a 100% IV. It wasn't my first perfect IV legendary, but it was definitely one very special. The catch date is my wedding day. So yeah, that's something that I find to be like one of the best things about Pokemon Go, that you could have stories like that around Pokemon in your collection. So yeah, I would like to power it up just for that. I think it's definitely worth the Stardust. But yeah, I need XL candy. And they're not easy to come by for this particular legendary Pokemon. Because Raikou, when it is out in raid battles, yes, I'll raid it specifically for the Candy XL. But even then, it's not worth spending all of your raid passes for, unfortunately. I kind of wish it was still relevant for that reason, but once they announced that there was going to be a Shadow Legendary raid day for Raikou, I just jumped on it because, for one, it's a raid day for Raikou, getting Raikou Candy XL. But on top of that, you know, in terms of Shadow Legendaries, it's one of the good ones. So yeah, I felt like this is one of those raid days where I'm really excited I came out and played. But at the very least, I would really like to get Candy XL so I could finally max out that 100% IV Raikou that's been in my collection since my wedding day. So yeah, actually share in the comments below if you have a Pokemon with a story like that. That would be cool to hear about. All right, let's jump into this. Only 13 people in this raid lobby, unfortunately. I am about to step out of my car to hit that one gym. So we'll brave the cold once again. We'll suffer, and hopefully it will be for a Shundo. A shiny Shadow 100% IV Legendary would definitely be worth the dangerous cold. Literally dangerous. And we're actually also pretty close to the raid requirements for level 73 as well. We'll definitely hit it by the end of the day. All right, there we go. That's done. Let's see what the IVs are going to be. Drum roll, and it's bad. It's bad. Again, that's been the story of the day. But let's see if it's shiny. That would be really cool. All right, 5 more raids. That's cool. Not a shiny. Yep, this is how it's been. But again, totally okay with it as long as I can catch these Pokemon so I can get those Candy XL. All right, people, here we go. Let's go back out into the freezing temperatures and see if we can hit this raid. Oh my gosh. Whew, it immediately hurts. Come on. I know how far I have to walk, but this is painful. Come on. I really hope at least I can get a high IV shiny out of this one. Oh my gosh. It would be the worst if my character was like not moving. Okay. We're right there. Why aren't you turning green? I mean, I could use remote raid passes, but I tend to save my remote raid passes specifically so I could raid with people on my friends list. Particularly my Patreon supporters. I try to jump in on whatever raids for my patrons as I can. Oh, come on, it's cold. Okay, so let's try to get some people in here. 8 people, 16. You know, I'm gonna hit ready. Oh, man, this is brutal. I cannot imagine being out in this weather all day. There are some people out here literally just walking around raiding like it's nobody's business. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. All right, we'll slowly start walking back towards the car. I feel like we'll hit it lucky with this one. We'll see. Ooh, it's painful. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just not properly dressed. I'm literally wearing 2 coats. Literally 2 coats. I should probably zip up my coat. That would probably help. Okay, it went down pretty quick. Let's see what the IVs are. Oh, hello, Eternatus. It's not even good. But are you shiny at least, please? Was it all for worth something? 4 more raids. Okay. At least it's a shiny. Cool. Thank you. So it was kind of worth it, I guess. Oh, this is tough. Oh. You know how I can tell it's cold? It hurts to breathe. It hurts to talk. Literally hurts. Oh, actually, while I'm out here, let's see if I can reach this one. Nope, I cannot. You know what? That's fine. But I'll jump into this one as I walk towards my car. Look, sorry. Okay. we're at least very close to the level 30 requirements, and we're getting some good candy. So yeah, cool stuff. Okay, for my health and for the sake of my phone's battery life, I am not going to jump out of the car again. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to get a few more raids done, and then I'm gonna call it quits. Actually, maybe this will be the last one for this video, who knows. But yeah, I'm really hoping for something good. 2 shiny so far. 2 shiny Shadow Raikou. Yeah, that's fine. That was literally what I predicted. Do about 20 raids, get 2 shinies. I think I'm gonna do more than 20 raids though, that's for sure. The rate at which I'm completing these and catching them is actually pretty good, pretty decently good. And these raid lobbies are filling up pretty decently. So it's not like we're sitting here just struggling to take them down. Alright. This one is still going down pretty fast, even though there's only 14 people in this lobby. I'm really thankful that one raid I just did was a full lobby of 20 people. Oh, because it would have been terrible if I just had to sit there and wait for people to jump in. Alright, are you subdued yet? I do like the mechanics of these shadow raids. I think it was very interesting. It definitely added a new element to the gameplay. The fact that you have to use these power gems to subdue them, and then as soon as you do, like, they're a lot weaker. So you can finish them up like much easier. 1898, not good. At least are you a shiny? That would be cool. Oh, one other thing is that the amount of rare candy and rare candy XL has been absolutely great. Has been stellar. I totally forgot that for these Shadow Legendary raid days, they kind of up the rate at which you get them. And I think it's because Shadow Legendary raids often give you more than usual. So yeah, that's been great. So regardless, we're going to come out with a lot of candy for that 100% IV Raikou. It'd be nice if I could catch this a little bit quicker. Nope, it's going to break out. Yeah, it's been a rough day, but it's been fun. It's been fun. You know, maybe I was very hopeful for that Shadow Raikou, but realistically, you know, this is a game of chance, and the odds of you getting a Shadow Raikou is always going to be much higher, or much lower, just because of the higher IV pool. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm sure some of you out there probably got lucky. Hey, if that happens to be you, say so in the comments. I would definitely like to hear if you got yourself a Shadow. That would have been... I would envy you, for sure. Come on. Oh, gosh. These are hard to catch. Nice. Wasn't even an excellent. Alrighty. Cool. Don't even care about the IVs. There's no raids I can reach without getting out of the car. Do I do it? Nah. Alright, I'm actually just going to sit here waiting for these to reset. I know I could just drive over and like repark my car, but I don't think it's worth it. Yeah. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out with me for this Shadow Legendary Raid Day. It is brutally cold. We did not pick up the Shadow, but that's totally fine. We did get ourselves plenty of candy, and I think that is a huge success. And we got some Shadows, we got a couple of shinies as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.